comment this morning?
There are no public comments.
Okay, great. Okay, our first action item is to approve the November 13th, 2020.
Move
minutes.
approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We have recommendations for 2022 board officers, and we have slides, if anybody needs them. I think we all have it here in front of us anyway.
So for this one, Madam Chair, on the very back slide, or on there are three board members that are interested in joining the executive committee for 2 available slots.
Okay.
And I think they're listed in the order in which they express their opinion. Sort of first come, first serve, I don't know, but.
Okay. Great. Well, I think any of them would be great. I'd love to see Renee on here, and Jamie's very active.
Very true.
Yeah. I believe Renee's been here for, this was her second go-around on PSTA, right?
Right, and I don't think she, by being on the executive committee, she has the, if she stays on here long enough, she will be chair, and then, I don't think she was chair her last go-around.
Okay. Alrighty then. Well,
Madam Chair, if I may have a question?
Sure.
For the chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer positions, were there any other indications of interest? Right, this is the recommended slate. Was there anybody else who was interested in those positions?
no?
No.
I didn't receive any other interest to serve ones.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes, I just wanted to make sure we were looking at any
Right,
potential interest in those positions. Okay, thank you.
Right.
And historically, the chair, vice chair, and secretary treasurer have served for 2 years typically, and so this would be the second year for all these people.
And that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that if somebody else had indicated an interest, that we
Yeah.
were at least evaluating that as part of this process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Okay. Do we have any feelings about, well, we're gonna take this all as a one vote, right? Or are we?
Well, I would recommend you take a vote on the executive, the chair, vice chair, secretary treasurer, and the 2 additional executive committee members, and then as one vote, and then
Okay.
all the committee recommendations
Oh, okay.
together as another vote.
All right, well, let's talk about the executive committee then. Does anybody have any feelings about which 2 of those 3 you'd like to see on the executive committee?
So which 3 are we're
We're talking about Renee Flowers, Jamie Robinson, and Deborah Fig Sanders.
Renee Flowers, who?
Jamie Robinson.
These 3.
Oh, here, oh,
There's
sorry.
only 2 spots,
I was
but there's
looking
3
at it
people.
the wrong way. I would like to recommend Renee Flowers and Jamie Robinson.
Okay. Do we have,
I will second that.
okay. Okay, great. Any other conversation about that? Okay, all in favor of that recommendation, say aye, or
Aye.
motion?
Aye.
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 Great.
Okay then.
Okay, and then if you go to the next page, Mr. Long, you can kind of follow along with all the committee assignments.
Okay.
So we just covered column number 1. There's, at the top, in the light blue, is the current committee, and then the bottom is the board members that recommended or agreed to continue serving on that committee, and then in the red are new board members expressing interest. So there's no open slots needed on the finance committee. Then the next column is the planning committee. Deborah Fig Sanders and, has been serving as the alternate on that committee. And Michael Fredovich, I think he has come to a meeting or two, but he's, so he's recommended the alternate. So those are the only two, and that would fill that committee.
So we're swapping those two.
Just basically swapping the two, yeah.
These people in red are the only ones that expressed any interest in these.
Yes.
Okay, we need to work on that, I guess.
Well, no, the ones in black are
No,
already
no,
on
I
the
mean,
committee. They're interested. They're not uninterested.
Right, okay. But these are the choices, the ones in red are the choices.
And then I will say, there is going to be another board member appointed by Pinellas County. Whether that is Commissioner Long again, or another, one of the three remaining, I think is to be determined, but.
Can we do that if you're time termed out?
Well, in conversations that I've had with Jewel, she indicated that, first of all, there's only 7 of us, and there are 3 members, there's 4 of us that serve already,
Right.
and there are 3 members who have no interest in serving. So as long as I'm not replaced by someone that really has a burning desire
Okay,
to be on PSTA, then
then we can
just,
reappoint you.
then I can just
Cool.
stay.
Okay, great.
So,
I spoke
and,
to,
you know, I've served on all these different committees, and I'm happy to just fill in wherever I'm needed. But I thought it was really an opportunity to, so I did not respond to Rachel's email, because I thought it was an opportunity for the new folks to start moving up. I still have a voice.
Yes, you do.
I think that's, no one was
You will
concerned
always
about
have a
that.
voice.
Yeah, right?
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's terrific. Okay. So for,
so for planning, I mean,
so we need 5 and an alternate. Yeah, okay.
right, so this would be fine. There's really no choice to make there in the planning committee.
Well, other than, yeah,
There is a choice for the legislative committee, because
okay.
there's really the only opening on that committee is an alternate position. But
Okay, well. So who's the chair then?
the chair of the committee has been Commissioner Long,
Yeah.
but
Well, Dan's been serving almost all year long, because every time I come in, he's moving the committee along, so I
Oh.
just left him there.
yeah.
I thought it was good practice.
But the chair of the committees choose their own chair and
Oh,
vice chair.
okay, all right.
Yeah, so when they get together in January, they'll select who wants to be chair.
Okay. Well, does anybody have any feelings about the alternate then? We're just looking at alternate.
Well, doesn't it say that Deborah Fig Sanders is already,
No, all 3 of
She
those
would-
are for alternate positions.
what?
All 3 of those are options for the alternate.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Only one alternate from those 3.
Would you, Commissioner Long or Commissioner Schulman, have a proposal, since the other two are?
Well, I'm looking at the other,
Robert,
I'm looking
yeah.
at the other committees too, to see where people might slot in. So,
Right.
from that perspective, it looks like, you know, Deborah Fig Sanders is gonna be on nominating,
Right.
and she's already taken a position on planning. So, I would, just from a balance standpoint of roles, take her out of the alternate for legislative.
And Josh, rest of the commission, if it helps, I recognize that I'm the freshman, and I hope to have a number of years of involvement with PSTA, so I at least wanted to put that out there, that I'm good with if y'all don't go with me. I want to be on that committee, but I understand. And at the end of the day, to my mind, the entire board should be part of the legislative committee. You know, so at the end, we'll all have involvement. So,
Well, and thank you for that. I think there's also value with having the current chair on the legislative committee. Just from a cohesive and control standpoint.
Could I make Madam Chair, could I make just a quick suggestion? Is it possible, Brad, do you think, to split it up a little bit between the state and the federal level? Because I would really like to be involved still at the federal level, given that I've been so many times and have so many contacts there that are just beyond the Pinellas County folks that I've served with in other capacities, as well as just people that
agree.
I know. Within the agencies that we've already met. I mean, we did spend 6 years getting that money, and now we have so much of an opportunity to pull down big federal dollars. I'm hoping we'll really move forward in a very quick and expeditious way.
Let me just ask her, so you're putting your name in addition to these, because I would have no problem with that myself.
Well, I mean, I just wondered if that was a possibility, because
Well,
I have developed a bit of an expertise, and I would like to be able to.
very true, and, it's been my practice, like on, especially Tallahassee or Washington DC, visits, to always have, board members come with me, because I think that's very important, and then, not necessar, and open that up to anybody, even if they're not even on the committee. If they're willing to come with me, that is fantastic. But, I mean, the nominating committee could recommend Commissioner Long, assuming that she continues to serve from Pinellas County, be the alternate to the committee.
Yeah, how about that? I'll be an alternate.
Okay.
Well, are we
Okay
also,
with that. I mean,
yeah, I'm fine.
so the current, the names that are listed in black that are holdovers from the prior year, are we required to keep all of those folks in those positions?
No?
I mean, there was just a presumptive interest and continuity, so the first question I haven't been involved with the legislative committee other than at the board level, so I don't know how active all of those members have been in the legislative
That's a
committee.
really good point. So let's ask the question, have all of these folks participated, Brad?
I would say so far, certainly, Commissioner Saraki, Driscoll, Albritton, and Jamie Robinson have all been very involved. Commissioner Peters, I mean, she is former state representative. I think she's attended most of our meetings, sort of.
I think I'd rather see, if
But that's
I'm
fine.
following Josh's point, I think I'd rather see Janet as the member and keep Kathleen as the alternate,
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be fine.
if we even do that.
Well, your
Or-
biggest,
Based on
your
attendance.
most valuable clout is the year after you're not there, because you still know everyone. The
Right.
further
Yeah.
you get away from it, unless you've managed to keep those relationships going, you're no different than anyone else.
Especially with term limits, because it's constantly turning over, so. And while I agree with the sentiment about making Janet a permanent spot, I'd be inclined to bring Jeff on as the alternate. He has an interest in being engaged in those things. And that's the main thing for me, is making sure that we have in any committee, that the people that are there are engaged in whatever that activity is
Yeah.
on behalf of the
Mhm.
agency.
I'm good with that, too. Like Brad said, we're all welcome anyway.
So that one, then we would, well, we wouldn't necessarily have Janet as chair, but she would be one of the permanent members, and Jeff would be the alternate. I like that too.
I will make that motion to name Janet Long as the standing member of the legislative committee and Jeff Gow as the alternate.
So then we have Saraki, Driscoll, Albritton, and Robinson, and then Janet and Jeff as alternate.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second on that?
Second.
Okay. Any other suggestions? I hope somebody wrote that down. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, cool. Great. Okay, we have one person who's expressed an interest in,
And we
in
need one,
nominating.
right.
That's assuming that Janet doesn't want to be on there? Or, I
Oh.
mean, not necessarily assuming that, but you were kind of on there as past chair too.
Who?
You, I guess. Well,
On nominating?
well, and personnel.
On,
No,
on,
No. She was.
right.
Right.
The
Um,
personnel committee does have the officers,
Oh,
but the nominating committee just has anybody.
okay.
So I would like, if I may,
Mhm.
I would like to recommend Deborah Figgs Sanders to replace Richard Bennett, because has he participated? He's not here.
Well, he's,
but we don't need to replace him, we need one
we
other
just need an
person.
additional member.
I would,
Hey,
okay.
replace-
So we
Deborah
can just
Figgs.
add her straight
Yeah.
out without removing Richard Bennett
Yeah,
also.
there you go.
Okay. Is that a motion?
Well, wait a minute.
Wait, that means you're not on there.
That means I'm not on there.
He was here on Zoom last year.
Is he back now?
He's around, but, Clarissa, I think he said that he's not in town or something, or he had another meeting?
Conflict, meeting conflict.
Okay.
Okay.
So I didn't get that, whether we're just
Well-
adding Deborah Fix Sanders or,
Well,
Well-
we either leave it the way it is right now,
And
or
Jan,
we trade Deborah Fix Sanders for Janet.
well, and Janet, you had said that you were interested in just, you're still gonna be around and wanna be around, but let other people take that role. So would it be, what about having Deborah Fig Sanders as the standing member, and then you're an alternate for the nominating committee?
If
Yeah.
that's what you want.
That's a good idea.
I don't
We
really
don't
have
have an
a
alternate for
preference
this.
one way or the other, I was just, going off of your comment earlier.
Okay,
If
that's
you-
fine.
Okay. So then I guess I'm making a motion that we add Deborah Fig Sanders as the standing member of nominating and Janet Long as an alternate member.
Okay. I need a second, though.
Second?
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any strong feelings about that one way or another? Not all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. All right, personnel. Well, here's another opportunity where you are being replaced in these nominations. What's your desire?
I mean, we have a new process that we're still trying to arrange, but I think there's less, concern about from myself. But,
Not to put too fine a point on it.
I think Commissioner Cox, would be great on that committee. That committee meets maximum
year?
2 times per year.
Yeah.
Janet, is that something that you wanted to continue to serve on? So it looks like based on thinking you weren't gonna be here or potentially not be here, you were dropped off of everything.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
way this was filled out.
What are your thoughts?
I'd really like to stay on it, but if you all want Vince, that's
If-
fine with me too.
I am more than happy to remove myself. If you would like to stay on, you can have my spot.
Isn't this the committee that does your evaluation, Brad?
It is, although all 15 board members do my evaluation.
All right.
This committee just approves the form.
And Vince is on
I can poke
finance
him in
and
the eye
planning.
anytime. I don't need an official way to do it.
Would you like to be the alternate?
I'm fine either way, but, Janet, if you'd like to continue to serve on that, I'm fine stepping off and letting Vince come forward, and then Janet, you can stay on as well.
Okay.
If not, I'm
Vince
also
is
fine
already on
continuing to
2 other
serve, so I'm
committees,
just willing to,
I guess we're both in the same spot,
so,
so.
it's really up to you. I'm fine either way.
But Vince is on
Oh,
finance
yeah, he's
and
on finance
planning,
and planning, yeah.
so. I think we should keep Josh on there.
Well, so along the same lines, I'm on finance,
He's on
planning,
4.
and nominating, and personnel, and it's not listed here, but
Oh, yeah,
also
yeah,
the
okay.
Forward Pinellas School Transportation Safety
Yes,
Committee.
yes.
Oh, yeah, well, never mind then.
But I
And which I'm
would,
happy to do. I just, I
Yeah.
want to make sure that everyone's having an opportunity to contribute in a way that they think is most
And Vince
valuable.
expressed a desire, right?
let
He
him
did.
serve, I'm fine coming off it.
No, we were just figuring out.
I'm also fine,
Okay, then let me stay and you get off,
fine, that's exactly,
because I don't.
I move myself to the parking lot.
I don't want to see you get off finance. I think your comments.
Well, yeah, I don't want to
you
do that, so.
You do a good job on that.
So no, I'm fine
Even though I
removing
don't
myself.
always agree with you.
Well, that's
Okay.
how you know you do a good job.
All right. We have a
Both sides of the argument.
motion to replace Josh.
Could you please state what you all decided, just so I
Yes.
Yeah, we just had a motion to replace Josh on the Personnel Committee with Janet.
And I guess also to accept Vince.
And then add Vince.
And add Vince.
And add, add Vince, yeah. Okay, do we have a second on that?
Second?
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hell yeah.
Opposed? Okay, there we go. What else would you like to get off? Let's see, okay, Forward Pinellas.
So can I just speak to that for a
Yes,
moment,
you may.
Madam Chair?
Yeah, of
Because
course.
I would like to stay on that, and I don't know yet if Charlie is going to appoint me as the county representative, or if I could be there as a representative from here. All I know is that I do serve on several subcommittees of that organization, as well as the Waterborne Transportation Committee.
Right,
And I really have enjoyed that and think I've been pretty effective, so I'd like to stay.
so what do we have, 3 county commissioners
We
on
have
there?
4.
Do we have 4 appointments, or,
Well, there
3
are
plus
4
you.
appointments total of county commissioners on the board.
but there's only 4 on right now?
Right.
So are you double
No,
nominated?
I'm a appointee from PSTA, because
No, I know,
I
that's
always
what I'm
give the
saying, though.
report.
Is there normally just 3 county
Yeah.
commissioners?
I think there's just 3.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Straight from the county, and then plus the PSBA person can be any
right,
PSA
right,
board member.
okay,
Yeah.
right.
so, I
So,
mean,
but you told Charlie that you want to be on there?
I have told him, and I've told, and he knows about my appointments as on the different subcommittees as well.
But,
But I don't know, he'd have to take somebody else off. And then we could appoint somebody else if somebody else is,
that could be arranged.
Well,
well,
Why don't,
you want-
as long as it's one of those that we really want.
no, I mean, never mind. Let me think. We could
Do we know
appoint
when
you
he's,
with a backup.
do you know when he's making those appointments?
I think it has to be the only meeting in December, right?
That's true.
Which is the first week, I think.
So do we have the option of delaying this one?
Yeah,
Till we
we
find
could.
out what he does?
Or we could do something and then.
you know, Subject to what he
or
does.
choose a backup.
Yeah, I like making a plan with a backup.
Yeah.
That way we don't have to, from a process standpoint, meet again.
yeah.
Then I would like to recommend Renee.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, I have, so Renee's already doing the T-BARTA, she's already
Right,
like,
but there is a huge value
mhm.
in having the same person be on all the transportation stuff, because at some point they go like this.
But
and
then,
it-
but you are, right?
Right, but we're talking about if Charlie puts me on there,
I know, but then we have 2 people on all this.
but that's been valuable to us, don't you think?
Yes, but we have Gina who wishes to be on something.
We don't know yet what Ken is gonna do in terms of appointments from the city, and we already,
that's true.
and we have Brandy. Do we have more than one from the city?
Yeah.
We have Brandy and Darden.
Right,
Well, and Darden's leaving.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
so you'll get
So
it.
somebody else will have to come on.
There's also value as, you know, so Gina's going to be chair, most, you know, she's on the path for the year after next. So having her have a connection with Forward Pinellas makes, at least in my mind, makes sense to start developing that. I don't know if she hasn't been on Forward Pinellas thus far.
And that's okay with me. So appoint Janet with a backup of Gina, in case Charlie doesn't appoint you.
I agree that I like Renee in that position also, but I think given where Gina's gonna be as far as this agency is concerned, and leading us a year or so from now, that's
Right.
a good, making more connections there is good for her in that role.
Well, Renee's gonna be there, she's on a track to be chair as well.
And there'll be time for that
Yeah.
as
Okay.
well. And I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that.
I would encourage the county commission to
Right,
put
right,
Renee on Forward Pinellas as well.
Yeah, they could do that, right?
we could, yeah. But that would mean, well, never mind.
Yeah. I got it, don't worry.
Well, right. But if you were both on there, well, you can't both be on there. So as an alternative, I don't have a motion on this, but I'd like to see Gina,
You wanna see Gina, is that what you're
because we
saying?
already have,
As the backup.
Well, then I'll amend
wait a minute.
I'll amend my recommendation to go with Gina, because I hear you say, I know you're from St. Pete, you want a St. Pete person.
That is not
Oh,
the,
yeah, I can see the wheels going.
Oh.
Come on, Jeff.
okay, hold on a second now.
turn off these mics for a second.
Well, that's another one that's dependent on who St. Pete
Fix.
picks.
So, and that's fine, so what we can do is potentially do a ranking order based on other
There you
assignments from other committees. So I would have Janet as first,
Uh-huh,
Gina as second, Renee as third, Kathleen as fourth. And based on if they're assigned by another agency, then
then
we
pick
can
the
move
next
up the
one.
line.
Right.
And rotate forward.
Okay.
Because you're right, with Darden leaving, Gina may be,
Right,
taking over Forward Pinellas' position from the city of St. Petersburg.
okay.
I just want to make sure that
You know,
we're starting to develop relationships.
I just feel the necessity to say something here, because we all agree, I think, that public transportation is a huge burgeoning issue in our county and in our region. And when you start talking about putting people on these committees, to me, it's really important that the person is going to show up and advocate for what the mission of the agency is. And if they're going to just be on the committee and have no, or can't make time to go and be at the meeting, then what is the point of what we're doing?
I agree. Do you have a feeling that there's,
I'm just going to leave it right there, you know what I mean?
Well, I know what you mean about one person, but I'm not sure who else you're talking about.
well,
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, well.
well, we
then-
can take them off the fourth spot.
Yeah, let's take that first. I wouldn't, yeah,
I'm fine with that, you know.
And then-
I'm hoping we don't go past the first one.
right.
Right.
Just make it easier if you do it.
It's a tough committee, I have to say, because it's got a lot of moving pieces.
And it takes a while to learn what's going on.
It does. And have you ever been to that class? Teaches you all about the bucket.
2 days, yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
I got about that much.
I need to go again because it's just,
I know, it's really confusing.
you can't get it all and, yeah.
Mr. Gower, are you on Fort Pinellas?
I'm not, Julie is.
Oh, that's right.
It's
yeah.
like a PhD.
Uh-huh.
to get that all under
funding,
your
yeah.
belt.
Yeah. And it helps explain why things go at a glacial pace with transportation. It's really-
Oh, but I do have a thing to report from
Okay,
being,
let's resolve this.
Oh,
Hold on.
So there's a
No bunny trails.
So I move to have Janet Long continue as the Forward Pinellas representative with, it was Gina Driscoll as an alternate, alternative,
Right.
and then Renee Flowers as an alternative to that,
alternative.
based
Assuming
on
the
their
first
own
two
committee
are-
assignments from their own respective
Do
agencies.
we even know if Renee has, I guess we're not allowed to talk about that. Has asked Charlie to be on Forward Pinellas. Does she have a desire to be on Forward Pinellas? Is that where this came from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
She told me she did.
Okay.
I know she told Whit. I don't know if she told, Commissioner Justice.
Well, I would think so. He's doing
I'm
the
assuming.
appointments. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
That's
that
my
was a
motion.
motion. Is there a
Second.
All right. Did you get that? You're good. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any other business?
yes, Madam
Yes,
Chair.
ma'am, go ahead.
So I had the very distinct pleasure
Yes,
of
you-
spending 2 days over in Orlando
Mhm.
At the APTA conference. And one of the presentations that I heard, it was just music to my ears, because it was the one, Brad, you may remember when Nuria Fernandez was there and her deputy person,
Yeah.
who talked about how they themselves recognize how slow and onerous and cumbersome the process is and how long it takes. And we all know they're very anxious to get that money out from the infrastructure bill that was just passed. And so they are working really, really hard to shorten somehow the different benchmarks
Phases and everything.
that need to
Yeah.
be done. And to that point, I'm remembering that they were looking for our input. Remember they said that? They wanted our feedback. So I think it would be very wise to take that chart that you had developed, Brad, early on in the process of when we were going after that federal money, that showed the 5 different steps that needed to get finalized before we could move to phase 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And just take a look at that and put all your brains of your leadership team together to figure out what could be done to either combine those, shorten those, or make it more effective.
That's probably a good idea.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while since we've really massaged that chart, and there could be things in there that maybe they're just doing because that's the way they've done them for 50 years, but that's not how the world functions anymore. And I mean, everybody here has heard me say this a gazillion times, that technology is just changing how we operate so quickly that huge cumbersome process just can't keep up. So it keeps
No
us
doubt.
from being competitive.
Yeah. The, what she was talking about wanting our input, they have they have issued a notice of proposed rulemaking, that they call it, that then they are obligated, or like 60 days, they have to open it for public comment. So, yeah, we could submit comment.
Don't you think it would be important that we have a voice in that?
Yeah.
We'll get Harry to hand deliver it.
I think you just upload it to the Federal Register and then they're obligated to read it or something. I'm not really sure how it works exactly, but, yeah,
Okay.
moving forward. Thank
Okay.
you. This is good.
Any other business? If not, we are adjourned.
Great.
Great.
Good meeting.
Hey, Brad,
Yeah.
so,
Oh, okay.
Brad, you want to come out and see my car?
Yeah, I did that.
It's
Does it
so-
only have one pedal?
What?
Does it only have one pedal?
No, but I drove all.
The caller has disconnected the line. Goodbye.
Put my foot on the brake, not once.
Which car?
Mine.
She's got a new Tesla.
Does it only have one pedal?
Is it a Tesla?